Hi guys, this is Mr. TV20 and today we're going to be reviewing Street Fighter 2. Now, there are many versions of Street Fighter 2, but they all basically play the same. I'm not actually sure why there's so many versions of the same freaking game. I mean, they have, I can understand they have a different Street Fighter for the SNES and for the Genesis. But the point is that I'm not going to be talking about any specific Street Fighter 2 game because, to tell you the truth, besides, I suppose, Street Fighter Alpha, they're all pretty much the same. But I'm going to talk about the most generic of them all, at least, you know, what they all have in common. Bison is the final boss and the antagonist of this story, and you have to fight pretty much everyone else that you didn't pick in order to get to him, plus the extra Shadowloo characters that get unlocked when you defeat all the main characters. One of them is named Vega, who is pretty much a mask-wearing, pretty boy interpretation of Wolverine because he does have these Wolverine claws that he has. I guess that, you know, makes him real fast and awesome, but he kind of just comes off as cheap to me. But I suppose that any skilled Street Fighter player could easily use him and defeat any other opponent. So that's good. The other one is Mike Tyson, or I guess M. Bison. Oh wait, Mike Barlog? I'm saying this because actually his original name was M. Bison, which is supposed to be a knockoff of Mike Tyson. I guess that everyone caught on and they decided to change his name to Barlog, while M. Bison's original name was Vega, which is now the Wolverine knockoff guy. Anyways, from the beginning of the game, you have a couple of characters to pick from. You have the main protagonist, Reveiw, or I have no idea how to really pronounce his name. I usually call him Reveiw, but I hear a lot that his name is actually Ryu. But if I have to actually see his name in Japanese, I think that his name would be Ryu. Now so I really think about it. But with the Y, and I'm not even going to get into it. Anyways, you also have another protagonist, Ken, and the third protagonist, Chun-Li. Chun-Li actually has a little vendetta against Vega, or M. Bison. I'm just gonna call him Bison because that's his name now, but she is something about him killing her father and yada 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 is now important. Ken is a ripoff of Reveiw. I have no idea why they would insist on bringing two characters who are exactly the same in this game. It actually gets a lot worse. I know I'm not talking about you know, any other game besides Street Fighter 2, but it gets a lot worse in the future, you know, going with that girl in the skirt, and you know, there's I'm not gonna spoil it, but you probably already know, but there are a lot of characters who are exactly like Reveiw, but just, I guess they just needed extra characters, so why not? Why not? They already did it with Ken, which is where it all begins. So, why not? You also have the best character in the game, Julie, with his theme that goes with everything, and will pretty much kick your ass if you fight him for the first time, I promise you. You have Blanca, who is, for some reason, green, and I think that is supposed to be some kind of name for Blanca, which I think, or Blanca, I think it's Blanca, that is supposed to be Hispanic for white. Or is Blanco? There we go. Yeah, but I have no idea why they would call him Blanca if it's supposed to be Blanco if he's actually green. And I say that it's supposed to be Hispanic because he's his place is in his arena for fighting is in South America actually. So I'm not exactly sure the origins of his name or exactly why he's green. I think it was ever explained. But he also has a mutant ability. He might as well be an X-Men because he can also, you know, use some thunderbolts and thundershocks like Pikachu, which is pretty helpful. Also, he's incredibly cheap with his spin dashes of fighting him. I highly recommend blocking all the time. You also have Sagat, who is a dick, but it's okay. he turns to a good guy later. You have E Honda, who is not a car, but is as big as one, who for some reason is participating in this tournament, even though sumo wrestling isn't technically a martial art, but whatever floats his boat, I guess. And you have Zangief, or Zangief, or Zangief. I really can't pronounce any of the names in all these Street Fighter characters. It's surprisingly hard. Zangief is Russian and he wrestles bears. You have Cammy, which is also really hard when she actually drills you from her gravity-defying tricks and moves. I suppose technically everyone has gravity-defying tricks and moves because whenever you see any new player fighting Street Fighter, you're going to see both the opponents backflipping all around, which, if you ask me, is highly unrealistic when you're actually fighting. At least I would think so. I don't know. I haven't seen two incredibly skilled and furnished martial artists fighting before, so hey, maybe you would find a couple backflips. Not a couple dozen, but maybe a couple. I don't know. You tell me. Then again, this is the game that insists that you need to go and use Haidokens everywhere. Giant fireballs. The signature move of the main protagonist, Reveiw and Ken. I suppose Fei Long, which is a shameless ripoff of Bruce Lee. And again, he's pretty hard, but I didn't have too much trouble with him. And I don't think I'm forgetting anybody except for Dasyum or Dihizum or the Indian dude who spews fire. I have no idea what the hell they were smoking when they were thinking of this guy, but I guess that he's like a master of yoga. I'm pretty sure that somewhere I heard that he was a prince, and that's pretty much all I have to say about him. He's really weird. For some reason he can spew fire, and he's a mutant as well. So I guess along with Blanca, he can join the X-Men. I can definitely see that, yeah. Especially with his awesome martial arts ability and stretchy powers, he can do just about anything. And do just about anything in the bedroom, I bet. No, okay, I'm gonna stop. Anyways, hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody. I want to move on to the gameplay. Now, with this game, you can move back, forward, backflip, frontwards and forwards. Again, very unrealistic, but hey, this is the game with Haidokens and stretchy men and green, white people in South America. You can punch harder, and punch hardest, kick hard, kick harder, kick hardest. I have no idea why they would want you to, decide if you want to kick lightly or kick hard, since if you ask me, you'd probably just want to punch as hard as you can. Isn't that, what you would want to do in a fight? But hey, maybe some more skilled players would know better. But for me, I did just fine just punching as hard as I can and kicking as hard as I can. But I did notice that the harder punches are a little slower, but, not too slow that I didn't manage to hit the actual CPU. But hey, I don't know. You also have special moves for each character, which for me was the hardest thing about this game, because when I first played Street Fighter on an emulator, because I didn't have Street Fighter 4 or anything to play, and I was really into the whole Street Fighter thing, but when I first played Street Fighter on emulator, I had no idea how to perform a Haidouken. I didn't look it up or anything. All I saw was, oh, Haidouken, that was cool. So I just kept pressing buttons, trying to fight and stuff. I kept losing, but I eventually learned how, well, I did it by accident so many times. I was like, how the hell did I do that? Let me keep doing that. And then eventually I found out, by myself, mind you, that you had to go down, sideways, and then left or right, do it. And I was pretty proud of myself, and I probably should have looked that up in advance, but hey, I guess that's the whole thing about gaming. Especially if you got Street Fighter the first time it came out. I'm pretty sure that nobody read the manual, so they had no idea how to use the special moves that the CPUs always use on them. So, good luck with Cammy or Bison or Blanca or whatever. I have no idea how to use their special moves, nor do I care to look it up. But, to tell you right now, I'm pretty sure you can't win just by button mashing. I mean, Granted, my dad kicked my ass in Street Fighter 4. I know we're not talking about that, but still, it's worth mentioning. He kicked my ass in Street Fighter 4 just by button mashing. I could tell because he usually plays Tekken more than he ever was Street Fighter. So all he really knew was to fight without using all those projectiles and backflips and junk. It was embarrassing because I really thought I was good at the game at that point. But hey, whatever. I guess that's how anybody who ever would go online in any fighting game would feel. Except it's by the person right next to you, who is your dad, who never played Street Fighter really before. Okay, that's enough. Anyways, the controls are pretty tight for what it is, and personally I guess that I had a pretty good time playing it. Oh, but maybe then I'd be lying, because I really think that the game could be cheating sometimes. I mean, not so much as cheating, but it's just that the computer does everything so perfectly sometimes in Street Fighter 2 that it's really hard to win. It's challenging, that's definitely it. But I always find myself like not doing things fast enough, not to... I always, when I lose, okay, this is the process. I go into the fight, I lose, and I think, maybe if I could have done this a little sooner, this a little better, then I probably would have won. The thing is that in this game, no move could be wasted. You can't waste a single move or you're pretty much done for. And I guess that some people can find something good in that, but for me, no, it's just like really unforgiving. And I guess I'm not that great of a gamer for that. But hey, I did beat the game, okay? I went all the way to Bison and I even beat him. And I was pretty damn bad for myself, and that's why I thought I got pretty good at the game. And soon, this is Street Fighter 2, mind you, that I beat Street Fighter 2. But, you already heard the story. All in all, the game isn't very realistic. Can be, if you ask me, cheap at times. And shamelessly copies other famous people in video games and movies. Also, the name Blanca makes no sense, and Blanca in general absolutely makes no sense. And I think that Ken is a generally useless character who is exactly like Reveiw. What the hell with that? And finally, I think that special move should be its own button, because, well, having to press down sideways and then up or whatever, and doing that twice to do stuff, especially in Street Fighter 4, was, I guess it's skillful, it's good for skill if you want to be skillful in video games, but there's so many buttons on the controller, I'm pretty sure you could have just, I don't know, did something, but hey. But after all that, I guess I did have my little bit of fun with the game, even though I, just pretty much put it down and never picked it back up for how long. Even then, I'm going to have to give this game a 9.1 out of 10. Well, that's pretty much it for me, guys. If you liked what you heard, and you know you did, why don't you go up and subscribe? I do have other reviews like this, and I'm planning to make a lot more. Also, if you check out my channel, you have this real cool Choose Your Adventure game. Choose Your Own Adventure game. Sorry. If you don't want to do any of those, why don't you choose answer C? And just go on and click the like button. Trust me, you'll feel so much better. And you'll get a cookie. But if you don't want to do any of those, then you're just going to have to pick the last and final answer. Enjoy your next video.